Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Last Page podcast. We are your hosts, Mariana and Niki.
Guys, today we're talking about the queen, the romance queen of our lives, Abby Jimenez. Obviously, she just came out with Say You'll Remember Me at the beginning of April, which everybody's been talking about. And she has 6 other books, full-length books at least. I know she has some novellas, which I have not read.
Yeah, she has little ones. I know like the Fall was like a recent one that she came out with.
Yes, but she has 6 previous books and now her 7th big debut novel. So we're very excited to deep dive. We both love Abby, so.
I'm so excited. I love her so much. She's my queen.
I think she's, if I had to pick a favorite romance author, I think she would be top for me.
Oh, that's hard.
I know that's like
me too.
A bold statement.
I have so many. I wouldn't put them against each other, women against women, but I love them all.
Well, I think it's maybe because I've read so many books from her, especially like prepping for this episode. I was like, I have to read all of them, as you've already read all of them. Versus, besides like Sarah J. Maas, I don't think I've read another author so much where I've read 7 of her books. Like, that's crazy.
That is pretty crazy. But what's crazier is she has 2 more books coming out.
She's such a queen, and she's really feeding us. She's been giving us a book a year, I feel, and I'm very happy about that.
I know, and also she seems really nice. Like, I have her obviously on Instagram, and obviously I'm on part of her Facebook group.
She's As you really say in every episode.
I literally say in every single episode, I'm part of her Facebook group. Don't kick me off. But no, I'm excited to talk about her.
I can't wait. After this, I am going to get a facial, so... I'm pretty excited about that, even though I did put makeup on for this and I'm going to have to just take it right back off. But
I got a facial on Monday and I do feel the same way because I had makeup on all day. The first time I went to my girl, I was like, I have makeup on. Like, I'm so sorry. And she's like, oh, that's fine. Like, I'm literally going to wash her face. I was like, oh, you're so right.
Period. I mean, I'm going to take mine off ahead of time and then hopefully she can really cleanse me up. I feel like getting a facial is such an adult thing to do. Isn't that crazy?
I know. I've been going to my girl 3 times already and just take all my money because my skin feels like a baby's butt.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know if you guys can notice, but I am glowing.
You do look like you're glowing. Do
you also notice something else? Whoever's watching on YouTube, you might notice something different. Bang. Yeah, I got bangs. It's not the bangs.
Well, I think you should cut your hair short, but that's me.
Oh, you're trying to sabotage me. Perfect.
I mean, I just think everybody would look cute with like a little cut, No,
you know who looks
like where that front layer is. Pull your hair back so you only see those front layers.
No, you guys.
I mean, I guess you might look like a little librarian.
I will look like a funny girl. No, I like my length, but I feel like you've been trailblazer for the bob, and now everybody's like on the bob.
POV started calling you Bob. You know that? You know that I'm known for the bob. Well, I will have you know that
you're going like this.
I know. You know how people call it a fuck ass bob? You heard that?
No.
Well, when somebody has like a really bobby bob, people will say like that's a fuck ass bob. And one time I was out in West Hollywood at a gay bar and I had my hair super straight and it was like when I had cut it kind of short. And this guy like literally stops on his way to the bathroom. He looks at me and he goes, "That's a fuck ass bob. I love it." And I was like, "Thank you."
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I have literally never in my life heard that.
That's crazy.
I think I would be offended.
Yeah, I don't know that it's necessarily normally a good thing, but the way that he said it felt like a term of endearment. And
like you felt seen.
I felt seen. Although I unfortunately am trying to grow out the fuck ass bob. So now, I mean, I'm sure I'll go back to it, but I'm trying to get it long and strong for the wedding so I can put it up into a bun. So
I can't wait to see you with long locks.
Can you imagine? Guys, if I ever got extensions, I would be unstoppable. But then all of my hair would rip out of my head and I would be bald, so.
You'd be unstoppable unless someone grabbed you by this.
And then all of them would rip out. I think extensions aren't made for me, which is fine because they're so expensive. So it's probably good that I couldn't get them.
Yeah, why are they so expensive?
Because people use real hair. It's real human hair.
I know, but like that's so crazy. Like respect to the labor that goes into it because I think they take so long. But
yeah. Well, what I want to know.
I did have like the urge to get hair extensions when I went to the hair salon one day, and my lady told me, "How long have you had alopecia?" And I said, "Excuse me." And then she took a photo, and there was a big old bald spot on the back of my head, the size of a quarter, like this. You guys.
Oh my God, I forgot
wish I
about
was
that. Did it grow back?
I was like traumatic. Yeah, I mean that was my girl in New York. Like I love her, but
That
it grew back.
but
Yeah,
was
it's
a
tiny.
big
It kind of
spot.
sticks out like that now.
Stop.
Yeah, yeah. wish
I
was
remember
skinny.
when you told me that, I was like, oh, you're being dramatic, whatever. You sent me a picture and I was like, holy moly, that's a big, big spot. But it was like covered up.
Yeah.
It wasn't like it was just a big bald spot.
It was like in the back of my head. Anyway, if anybody wants a photo, I'll send it to you like on a DM. But like, it was traumatic.
You're not going to post your bald spot on our stories on Instagram.
No, I've been sabotaged enough.
Yeah,
On
yeah,
this
with the
podcast.
with the goggles. Photo. How's your swimming going? Have you
Can I
been
tell you,
swimming?
I haven't gone swimming a single time.
You made a whole show about how you were a swimmer
because
now.
did I tell you that my PT's going well? Thanks for asking, you guys. But my swim PT, which is what I was gonna just do, is like start swimming.
Physical training, not physical
Yeah,
therapy.
they hooked me up. It's a personal training.
Oh yeah, yeah. Sorry.
They hooked me up with the guy,
In the pool?
most beautiful man. Like, hello, I'm not gonna go and swim with him.
In your little Speedo and your little bald cap and your little goggles?
So embarrassing. And I told Ben, I was like, so the guy, like, I don't know why I thought, I mean, his name is Paris. Like, I thought it was like a sweet gay man. I don't know. Like, and it was this beautiful man. And it turns out that they don't go in the pool with you. They just like hover over like a god on the ledge
that's so
and follow you back and forth.
embarrassing.
No, I know. It's hiding. I'm not going. He keeps texting me.
No, stop. That's like actually, I mean, granted, I don't really like swimming that much, but that sounds like my nightmare. That's so embarrassing. That's like doing
That's so
PE,
embarrassing.
swim. Did you do swim PE?
No, I didn't.
I feel
didn't
like we
have a
talked
pool.
about this. Yeah, we had to do swim PE and it was miserable.
No.
Yeah.
No. Immediately I said cab off.
Wig snatched. No more fuck ass Bob.
No cap.
No,
That's a good
no
one.
cap.
Gen
That's-
Z. The Gen Z in me.
That's no printer, just facts.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, yeah.
I used a fax machine the other day.
You did?
Mm-hmm.
For work?
It was like doing like house paperwork. And I was like, what the heck? My sister knew how to use it like a professional. She's 1 year younger than me.
I think I used a fax machine back in my day, but not really recently.
I know. the
I
good
did
old
have to
days,
use a
you know?
printer the other day and I was mad about it.
Oh, I had to use a printer. Anyway, why we're talking about printers.
We sound dumb. Guys, look, we're college educated, okay? I can't say my college degree, my GPA was that good, but I did graduate with a degree, so.
So did I. For
So boom.
literally not a single drop of it do I use on an everyday basis.
No, I also don't remember anything that I learned in any classes. Literally. Except that the big earthquake in California is hundreds of years overdue. This wasn't even related to my major. I took an earth system
I
science
was like,
class.
wait, what?
Yeah, I was a business major, you guys, but for one of my like general eds, I had to take earth system science. It was actually very interesting. And in California, if you didn't know, there's a lot of earthquakes, but we're long overdue for like a big, scary earthquake by like hundreds of years. And our professor was like, yeah, so it's not an if, it's a when. And like, you know, it's going to be bad. And I'm like, cool.
Soon. Well, there was just an earthquake.
There
for you.
was. Yeah.
What were you doing when it hit?
Well, I was getting my nails done. There was a big earthquake, and if it's over a 6.0 or a 5.0, they send out these alerts. So I'm getting my nails done, and everybody's phone in the whole building is wah. It's like an Amber Alert sound, and it said earthquake, duck and cover, and I'm reading it, and everybody's reading it, and we're like, there's no earthquake. And then
You're
10
like this.
seconds later, it started. So it was really crazy because they knew like ahead of time, which I don't know how
Well,
that works.
because you get the aftershocks. That's why, right? Or not the aftershocks. You're
It,
like
takes a
not in
minute to
the
travel.
the epicenter.
Yeah, because it was more near San Diego, was like the epicenter of it. And it was really mild where I was at, but a lot of people who are kind of closer to the coast said that it was like pretty big.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Ben is coming to California this summer, and I was like, I hope you get to feel. He's never felt an earthquake. And when I was in New York, it was when that big earthquake in New York, and no one in New York really ever feels earthquakes. Everybody was freaking out, and then in our
Yeah.
chat, everyone's like, I could tell who's like not a native from
Yeah.
California.
Yeah, nowadays,
But
I mean,
they are
earthquakes
scary.
are scary, but I feel like They're kind of cool and fun. You know what? He might feel one in the summer because I feel like summer is earthquake season.
We always say that though. It's like, oh, earthquake weather.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
such
when
like
it
a
gets hot.
California thing.
Well, because the plates start to do their little dancey dance.
Shimmy.
Yeah.
Shimmy.
A little shimmy shake. The plates said, ooh, tectonic plates. It gets hot.
You would have
It's
failed your
getting
Earth
hot.
System Science class if you walked up and you were like,
Imagine. No, my professor was cool. She was chill like that. No, that class was really interesting. But yeah, everything else that was like actually in my major, I don't know.
well,
C's get degrees.
I mean, for those of you who don't know, I went to school for public health. And I did do a bunch of research with rats. Remember that? That was a good time in my life.
Oh my
What do
God,
I do now?
Mariana's
Not
like
that.
deathly afraid of rats and birds. Like pigeons. Every time we'd go, when we went to Europe to study abroad, she was like screaming because all the time because there's so many pigeons. And you
Yeah.
did have to do work with rats, and I remember you. But that was pretty brave of you. You hated it, but you did it. And you
Yeah, I
listened
was
to
doing
what
it
was
for
that
future
song?
me. Yeah, I mean, we don't have to tell them. I mean, thanks for sabotaging me.
No, I'm
Nikki,
gonna
again.
out her, guys. She
Okay,
had
so
to listen
every
to a
time-
comfort song to deal with the
Every
rats.
time
which
I
is
would
makes
listen to
sense.
the same comfort song, and now when I listen to the comfort song, all I think is like that smell of the like lab where you would go
Ew.
in and like do the rats tests.
That's
Ew.
crazy.
Anyway,
Well,
sorry
but
for
you
those
know
of
what?
you who don't like rodents.
Now what you use it for is reading stories about like doctors and stuff.
Yeah, like my favorite doctor. I forget his name from yours truly. What's his
Oh,
name?
Jacob Maddox. Is that his last
Really?
name? Maddox.
That sounds right. But I also have read a hockey book where the guy's main name was Maddox. So maybe I'm confused.
Did I don't know if you responded to my text message. I think you did.
Yes, I didn't.
Oh,
I saw.
well, guys, for my in-person book club, we decided to read The Deal by Elle Kennedy next month. And I was like, guys, my friend Mariana's going to be so excited about this. So,
I just did like a silent yell. I am so excited. But here's the thing. I'm not going to get too excited. You know why? Because Nikki has commitment issues. I read the first book of a series and I will read that whole thing that same day. Like I will read
I'm
it.
not going to be doing
Nikki
that.
will probably read the first book and be like, I love it so much. And then never pick up the second book or the third or the fourth or the fifth or the,
How many
there's
are
probably
there
like
though?
12
There's
books.
so many.
I think there's 6 in that first one, but then she has 2 series. So she has the Briar U series and then she has the Off Campus series. So there's 2 series. This is
Okay, here's the thing. If we do an Elle Kennedy deep dive podcast episode, then I'll read all of them to prep. So by the time her
I
next
don't even
book
know if I
comes
could
out,
deep dive into all of them, to be honest. There's so many.
yeah, true.
Should we dive into Abby's deep
I was gonna
dive?
say we're gonna try to deep dive into Abby. We have 7 books to talk about. We're gonna kind of glaze over the first 6 because those are old news, and then we're gonna jump into her newest book. But we will be talking about all of them. But first, Mariana has some very exciting info for us about Abby herself, some of which I didn't know. So take it away.
Yeah. Oh my God. I was like, what do I have to say? I thought you were teaming up for something else.
No.
So the source for today's author spotlight, which is Abby Jimenez, is a digital article by today.com written by Kelly Vaughn back a year ago, so April 2nd, 2024. So this was from when they interviewed her for when Just for the Summer came out. But for this, we're introducing the wonderful Abby Jimenez, and we're going back to 2007, you guys. We're taking it back. What was I doing? I was probably in like my biology class or something.
I was dancing to Cyclone at school dances.
Oh my God, I never went to any school dances, I gotta say.
Oh, I was up in there. She move her body like a cyclone. That was me in 7th grade. So just picture
Okay, let's
that.
go back to 2007, and I will say Abby was not at school dances. She was actually kind of like figuring herself out. She was married, but all along she kind of knew that her 2 like main hobbies, like top of her agenda, were baking and writing. She's always loved baking and writing, so I think we can kind of see that sprinkled through her books. She used to be a retail manager back in 2007, and for some reason, like, she lost her job. She was kind of trying to figure out what to do. And she ended up taking a cake decorating class at Michael's, which is hilarious
so
because I love
crazy.
Michael's. I'm such like a big Michael's person, and I always see
Same.
those classes being like in session.
We should
So it's
do
actually so fun.
that.
We should.
That'd be
They
so
always
fun.
do like little like sewing classes or cake classes or like just art classes, flower arranging classes. Anyway, so she was one of those. She was doing a cake decorating. Like I said, she's always loved baking. And so she was kind of using it as a distraction and also just because she's always loved it, but losing her job, she was kind of a little bit lost, she says, and trying to find new hobby, but also just to get her mind off things. She had just had her third baby, and that's when she started doing what she liked, which is baking, but also she started Nadia's Cakes and Nadia Bakes. And Nadia is actually the name of her second daughter, so her middle child out of the three at the time. And she started selling what she was baking from her house. And I think it was like such a funny time for her because she says that she started getting a lot of demand and she kind of went viral for like her like crystal decor. It was like she baked but with like crystal little funny little elements to her baking. So it wasn't just like classic baking.
Ooh.
It was kind of like artsy, and she did a cake decorating class, so it really paid off.
Ooh.
Yeah, so it was like an artsy baking. She
Maybe
then
we can share some of her work on our Instagram stories on the pod
oh yeah
page.
yeah
That's
we
very
definitely
interesting.
should. We then jump to 2009. So she's been doing that for a few years, kind of trying to keep up. In 2009, she opened up her first Nadia's Bakery. So for 2 years, she was doing it out of her house, just kind of trying to figure everything out. She opened up Nadia Bakes in Palmdale. Fun fact about me is
crazy.
my stepdad lived in Palmdale for a little bit, and I was like, I know where Palmdale is. When I read that, I was like, that's actually kind of very niche and very
Not me
funny.
driving up to Palmdale to get some. Does she still have it?
So I don't actually know if she still has it, but she had it at the time. So this was last year. She still had it there, and then she has 2 locations in Minnesota.
Oh, well, we got to go to one.
Yeah. So she opened up Nadia's Bakes in Palmdale. Again, the actual storefront, like brick and mortar, blew up. People were waiting outside. She said it was like an immediate hit because I guess like one of her decors went viral. Again, she was very into the artsy side of it, but I think it was, they didn't really say it here, but my assumption is it was like a male body part or like a sexy body part of somebody that went like viral. So then she kind of became known. Yeah. I'll add the article and I'll link it for you guys just in case I didn't read that right, but I'm pretty sure that's what
Wait, that's so
was kind
funny.
of teasing. It said one cake broke the internet for its resemblance to a certain body part. That's what it says.
Oh,
you can kind of assume.
Totally. Well, it's obviously something phallic and inappropriate. Who knows which one?
Yeah. And so that blew up, and within 2 months, she was on, I don't know this show, but I know the other one, TLC's Fabulous Cakes. Do you know that?
I used to watch a lot of TLC, so I might have seen it.
Yeah. So she was on Fabulous Cakes, and then she went on after that to go and win Cake Wars on the Food Network. She won $10,000 off of that, and that's kind of
Stop.
where like her baking really took off even
Oh
more.
my god, I want to watch that episode, the season or whatever. That's so
know.
funny.
I know, I want to watch it too. So she was on Fabulous Cakes. She then went on to the Food Network, and then after that, her and her family picked up and decided to move to Minnesota. In the article, it says that she is quoted just saying like, "We wanted to see the seasons and just kind of." They've been in California for so long, so let's get something different and be able to like literally see the leaves change and snow. And I think we see that through most of her books because this is actually when she picked up writing. So she got to Minnesota, opened up 2 shops in Minnesota for Nadia's Cakes, which I feel like she promotes a lot. Like she'll leave books there, or she'll be like, "Oh, I picked up this," which I think is still really cool. I'm gonna double check. I don't actually know if she still has the Palmdale location, but if she does, we should definitely go because it's like not that far.
Totally go.
Yeah. So this is when she picked up writing, and funnily enough, her first like attempt at writing was she was trying to write like a dystopian novel. So like not contemporary romance at all.
Whoa.
She said that she like tried to send it off to an agent and the publisher, and they were like, "You should try again."
You're like,
And she's like, "Okay, like let me write what I know, I guess," which ended up being just like her foray into contemporary romance. And she said, she's quoted saying, you know what, maybe I can just write my own romance and kind of go from there. And so she said that she was in the publishing stage for so long that she had the chance to write the second book. So the first book in her series, is it
The Friend Zone was her first one, I think.
Okay, so then
I can look in here and see.
She basically was like waiting so long that she had the chance to like literally write her second book. She was in the submission. She was submitting to publishers for so long that she had the chance to write for her second book there.
Wow, this says first edition June 2019.
Yeah, I know.
So maybe she has. And does she have other books, like small little unknown ones?
Maybe. She also then goes to say, like 9 months into her second draft of the book, they ended up getting an offer for a 3-book deal, and then she got even more offers. So I think after that, things started to pick up, and then the article just kind of goes into her talking a little bit more about Just for the Summer, which was released last year, which was her latest book, like her latest full novel before Say You'll Remember Me, which I really loved. Just for the Summer. Let's be clear on that. And yeah, I mean, I love her. I think that we can kind of dive into her writing now and go through the books and maybe do a little ranking of them, because I do love all of them and I love her. And it's just kind of fun to hear how she got started. Obviously, we went all the way back to 2007, but even until now, I feel like she's blown up so much with TikTok and Instagram and everything. So it's just like, I don't know, it's just so fun to see.
Well, it's so cool because I feel like knowing the backstory makes these books even more special because of the way she always talks about Nadia Cakes. And like, it's cool to know that like that's her business, or how you've even said like she writes her dogs into the stories, because there's like always an animal in every book. And so she writes them in there. And like, that's so cute.
I know. I think it's sweet. And then also another thing that I just know from following her is like, she writes her car into it a lot. I think it was a car that she had when she was really young. She's posted photos, so maybe I'll try to find one and just like link it into our stories as well. But when she describes the cars, and like there's always a character that really is into cars for whatever reason. I think that's a little bit of her in there too. And she said it in the interview just last year, that it's like, let me just write what I know and the love. So,
I feel like that makes the books feel more authentic, because you can tell she's really happy and passionate about what she's writing. So it feels like a more true, authentic story, I guess. I don't know. I love it.
Yeah, and we'll talk about it in Say You'll Remember Me, but I felt like the car in this book was a big part of it. Yeah. It ended up being like a big part of it too. So
totally. Okay, well, let's dive into all of her different books. We'll go kind of quickly through the first ones, but I have my whole stack here. I bought all of them because I love all of them. So first one is The Friend Zone. This is like the first, basically her 2 trilogies are interconnected standalones, but you kind of have to read them in order, in my opinion. Also, we're going to have spoilers throughout this whole video. So if you haven't read anything from Abby yet, you might want to click off and come back. So just so you know. Okay, so The Friend Zone is about Kristen and Josh are the main 2. This is the one that deals a lot with Kristen's infertility issues. She's thinking about having like a surgery, you know, I think it was to remove her uterus or something like that because of her really intense like period pains and infertility issues. So Josh, though, really wants a big family. He's the hot fireman that just moved into town. He's like a Midwestern boy. He's really close with his family. So it deals with their relationship, and then also her best friend Sloane in this book. Basically they're set up to like be going to Sloane's wedding, but then Sloane's fiance passes away, which is like a really traumatic, like crazy moment in the book. I actually really loved this book. I was really surprised at how much I loved it.
I loved it too, because when I read it, I started it on audiobook, and I think the voice actors that they chose for her and Josh were really good at the banter portion of everything and like the attitude. So I really liked that.
See, I didn't like the audio.
You didn't like it?
Well, the funny thing is that I loved the guy who did Josh. The girl who did Kristen, I hated the way she voiced her, but then she voiced Sloane in the second book and it was fine. So I think it was just...
She did?
Yes. I think it was just the way
I didn't listen to the second book.
Yeah. So that took me out of it a little bit, but I still loved it.
But Josh, the actor for voice actor for Josh was so good.
Hot and fly, yeah.
And this is
Love.
when we get introduced to Something at Mike, which is Kristen, the main character's dog in the book, but it's also one of Abby Jimenez's actual dogs. She has
That is
3
so
little
cute.
Yorkies.
Stuntman Mike, and he's like this lady killer, and she's like, here, take him to the grocery store, and like Josh like gets all the girls or whatever. It's so funny. That one, I feel like, to me, I was hooked, except for the whole infertility issue of it all was like, to me, the least interesting part of it, because granted, she didn't really tell him about it, so he couldn't make his own decision about like, maybe I would want to be with her or whatever. But if I were her, I would just be honest about it and, you know, let him make his own decision. You know, she was like sabotaging it from the beginning, which I didn't love.
I know. I feel like with a lot of, and it's not just Abby, but I think a lot of women that are written take that approach where it's like, it's not about you, it's about me. And like, I'm just gonna like omission, like lying by omission kind of thing. Which I don't like that trope. But
No,
I
I
could
don't
see where it's like, it's pretty realistic take. But I'm just like, Frank, this would all been avoided if you would have just been honest.
Yeah, it's like miscommunication, which to be fair, I feel like that happens in a lot of her books, or at least this first 3. But yeah, to me, I was like, you can just like adopt babies and be happy, which like, you know, in the end, it all worked out happily ever after. But I just loved the characters of that book because Kristen is like so sassy.
The beginning of it was really fun too, like going along in the journey of like them meeting after he like rear ends her, or like she rear ends him, I forget, and then she like messes up the car or whatever.
Yeah. And the firefighters,
I liked it.
Like, oh, cute.
And he helps her with her dog business, right?
Yes, well, because she makes those little like doggy stairs for the little dogs to get up into the bed. She makes like little doggy clothes, and they're always like crazy sassy. And she's got this like weird bitchy mom. You know, it's like a whole thing. I just think Abby writes her characters really well. So it's like you feel like you're kind of intertwined in the whole, like, she not only writes the main characters, but she writes a lot of side characters. You feel like ingrained in their life. And this one is cool because it was set in LA. And so a lot of the places they were going, it felt like home to me because she was writing it about LA. So that was fun.
Yeah, I like that too. I like knowing where something is.
Me too.
I'm like,
when
I've already been there.
Something. Yeah, I'm like, oh, East LA versus West LA, very different. Like, there's a lot of opinions about this, you know, stuff like that.
I know. Yeah, no. I really liked Friend Zone, and that's why I kind of got, it did feel a bit dated. Did you feel that?
You know what? I actually didn't feel that. I think to me the cover looks really dated, so I was kind of like, I don't know if I'm going to like this. But I felt that it was, I mean, granted 2019, I thought it was older than that. But to me, she did a good job in that book of not writing anything in that was like current, except for I think she talked about like gladiator sandals or something, and I was like, girl.
Yeah.
But other than that, I felt she kept it out. Yeah, it's just, you can never write outfits into a book. I don't know why authors haven't learned that.
Yeah. I remember in the article where, because we were talking about how like she talks about fertility or infertility, and I feel like a lot of her books do have more serious themes. She was saying, and just I guess like her overall writing style, that she's like, I can't picture writing anything that doesn't have one of these more important themes, because romance takes place in the folds of everyday life when like people are dealing with these bigger things. So you can kind of see that in each of the books. So like I think as we go through the books, there's a pretty big theme in each of every single one of them.
There's something heavy in all of them, which is kind of, I feel like if you're reading books as escapism, it makes it a little bit hard to read her books just because it's so like each one
serious.
It's serious, but I feel like that is true where it makes it feel more realistic because it's not just like, oh, you know, third act breakup. We don't like each other, but we do, you know, like it's more like there's an illness or like mental health issues or some death in the family, something like that. So,
yeah. So I mean, I like that. And I felt like that was very realistic, where I understand what you mean, where it's like sometimes I just read and I just want to read about someone in college.
Yeah.
You know, flipping it up. Like who, like, you know, but then it's like you read her books and like Say You'll Remember Me, like that was very, very serious. Even just when I started it and I was like, oh, I read the trigger warnings and her like author's note, because I feel like with her books you kind of have to sometimes.
Mm-hmm. And anything that deals with like illnesses or someone dying is hard to read about. And even in the friend zone, like Brandon, I believe his name was, Sloane's fiance, his accident, because I don't typically read the trigger warnings on stuff, and because I'm like, I don't have that many triggers within books. But when I read that, I was like, oh my God, it came out of left field. And I was like, it like was really sad.
Literally came out of left field. I remember thinking the exact same thing.
Well, normally I feel like you can pick up on like, uh-oh, something's not going to last here. But I think that was what made it more heartbreaking, is that they were like so perfect together, you know? And it just became this. But I think, which is a good segue, that really teed us up for the next book, which is why I was so excited to read this one, because it was Sloane's book. And it's the Happy Ever After playlist. So this one is about Sloane and Jason, aka Jackson Waters, our little, you know, singer extraordinaire, pop star
Harry
king.
Styles.
Harry Styles. So this one, it starts when his dog gets loose because of like the weird like person watching it, whatever.
His ex-girlfriend was supposed to be minding his dog, and then he got out.
Yes, he gets out. She runs into him, not literally runs into him, but he like hops into her car, and she figures out who he is. She's like texting him. Yeah, it's like so funny. And I loved that for a while she was getting to know him before she knew that he was famous. So it was like she had no idea. But the crazy part is that when she found out, she was like, oh my God, his music video is what like really got her through that period right after Brandon passed away. Because she,
oh yeah,
you remember that, where like the one, because Kristen and Josh would always go over and like take care of her and make her food and stuff when she was literally depressed, obviously after her fiance died, and all she wanted to ever do was like watch his one music video on repeat over and over, but it didn't have his face in it, so she just like never knew this was like this guy.
Yeah,
so that was crazy.
Oh my gosh, I know. See, I have so many mixed feelings about this book, because
this one's a weird one.
I didn't love it. Like I maybe I was so jaded, because from the friend zone going into, oh, now Sloane gets to find love again and her boyfriend had to die. Like, hello? Yeah. So I was kind of upset. I felt like it was too soon, but who am I to say anything?
But it was like also, a 2-year gap or something, wasn't it?
I felt like it was, I'm like, I don't know any of this, but like I felt like it was very quick.
I know, I should have looked, but I'm pretty, oh yeah, wait, LOL. I looked at the back of the book. Literally it says 2 years after losing her fiance. Because she like, it jumped timelines pretty quickly, but it had been 2 years when she was still so like in the weeds of her depression after he passed. And so that's when the dog happened and she jumped back in. But also it was a little toxic.
But like, here's the thing, like, I'm sorry. They made them seem, Sloane and Brandon, so in love. Like, nothing could ever break them. And then he passes away. And then she's like, oh, let me go be with Harry Styles. Like, I don't know. I'm also annoying because I read them back to back. And I was like, maybe too fast. Like, I should have given myself 2 years.
2 years is a
like,
long time. You know?
No, it's not. It's literally not, Nikki.
No, it's not, but it like is though. And I think the thing is that she wasn't looking for somebody. That's what to me made it feel more authentic, is that this guy just like kind of fell into her lap. And a lot of the book was about her feeling really guilty about it. Remember? And like she couldn't get rid of his stuff. More guilty. I know, you're like, how dare you? No, but I think it was I have no experience with this subject. I don't know what it's like to lose a partner. Thank God. But it's like it felt very realistic to me, the way that she was like, well, shit, like I kind of like this new guy, but like I feel like I'm betraying him. Like, yeah.
I know. Yeah. I think the timeline kind of was a bit much for me. I think if Abby would have given them 5 years, I would have been like, okay.
Yeah, I feel that. But then like the whole book goes across like he has to go on tour, and she was like, well, I don't want to uproot my life, but he was like, you know, it's going to be hard for us to do long distance, whatever. They kind of tried breaking up. She was like, fine, I'm going to come on tour with you. It was like a whole thing. And I remember when I went into, I think the first half of this book, I was like obsessed with it. And that's kind of when it started to like go downhill for me a little bit. Because that was a whole crazy thing, her having to leave her life, and then Lola Simone
on the tour bus. Like she hated her life. Like
she hated her life.
I didn't like it.
No, I didn't.
I didn't like that.
I didn't either. And but I felt for him in that situation as well, because like obviously that was his dream life, was to be this like big singer star, but he was being really manipulated by his label, and like Lola was being crazy and she had to go to rehab and he had to help her, and then that was like a whole thing where they set up, you know, the photos to be taken of them.
Cheating on.
Yeah, so it was a whole thing. But I feel like it ended up working out. You know, they got to go back to the Midwest, live together.
Yeah, I just felt like in this book, I didn't like Sloane too much, and I wasn't
You
in
love
love with Jackson.
Sloane.
I know, I'm sorry, but the fact that she, like, people are gonna hate me. Like, why would you follow him? Me in London, like literally, like, why would you follow him and hate your life and then stick around? I did appreciate when she was like, I actually hate my life. Like, I want to go back and be an artist at your parents' house.
Yeah. Well, because she didn't have a house
Like,
to go
what?
back to because she left the house. She sold the house. I mean, I get it. Look, I think I get it because I'm a lover girl. And if I would have, like, literally, I mean, Ricky and I are engaged and have been together for 7 years, so it's different now. But I feel like even a year or two into us dating, if he was like, I have to move to Indiana for work, I would be like, okay, let's go. Like, I would follow him around. So,
Yeah, I mean, and she was an artist. Like, she was doing like pictures, right? Like paintings.
yeah, she was like really a talented artist and she was really good at cooking. She had her like, Huntsman's Wife, like, blog or something.
Oh yeah.
Which, like,
I
his
forgot about
mom,
that. That was
he
sweet.
didn't realize. He's like, oh, I've been eating your food all along. And, like, she didn't want to cook anymore. She literally hadn't cooked at all since Brandon died. And then she started cooking again. It was cute.
That was sweet. That was sweet. I liked the idea that she had that. I just I just feel like she shouldn't have left her whole life just to follow him around.
I see that. But I feel like that was honestly, like, part of it, though. Because I feel like she was like, yeah, it's going to be great. I'm going to go on tour. And then she did it. And she was like, actually, this was a bad idea.
I hate my life.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
guess
it's
you
like
kind
a
of gotta
realistic
like,
perspective.
yeah, you kind of gotta do it, and I do. Then I guess I do appreciate that she was like, okay, I hate this. Goodbye.
Yeah, you should never move for a man. That's so crazy.
I moved for myself and for a man.
Yeah, to be fair, before you even dated Ben, you said you wanted to move to London, so
Yeah, so
it's just
There you go.
convenient that he lives there too. Yeah.
but you also lived on this side of the world. Anyway, this we'll see in the rankings. Not one of my faves. No offense, but I did really like the writing and the characters were
I
good.
liked it. It's because I like Sloane. Okay, so third and final in the
Yeah,
friend
why do you
zone.
like her?
Because she's sweet and I feel like she's doing her best. I think that her and Kristen are a funny bestie duo, which I loved. Because Kristen's like, yeah, pull his dick out. And Sloane's like, oh my God, like, what are you talking about? But she's like,
That is
okay, she's
true.
like trying to be like sexy and cute. And Kristen's like egging her on, you know?
I feel like you're Kristen and Lynn's is Sloane.
Totally. Because Lynn's is always like, stop.
And I'll be stuntman Mike.
Yeah.
I'll be Kevin.
Oh no. Okay, guys. Anyways, third and final is Life's Too Short. This one is about Vanessa and Adrian. Vanessa is a travel YouTuber, which I kind of immediately when I read that I was like, I don't know about this one. And Adrian is like her.
You're like, I hate YouTubers.
Well, I just we'll get into it, but reading about social media is like cringe number one. I usually hate it. This one I actually didn't mind, so I'll get into it. But Vanessa and Adrian is like the hot neighbor, lawyer, like super hunky guy, whatever. So they meet because Vanessa her sister is an addict and basically had to take over as guardian for her niece, Grace. So, of course, she's like thrust into single motherhood. She like doesn't know anything about babies, anything about kids, and she's just screaming her head off all night and being a baby, you know, whatever.
Can you imagine?
Oh my God. And Adrian's like, I literally live next door to you. Shut that baby up. And she's like, what do you mean you want me to shut this baby up? Like, what is wrong with you? Which I also liked her because she was so sassy. And then it just kind of goes from there, and it deals with like Vanessa, the whole book pretty much thinks but isn't confirmed that she has ALS because her mom and sister had ALS, and it's like a genetic thing. It can be random and it can be genetic was like the whole big thing. But ALS is obviously like a really serious degenerative disease, and she the strain that her family had, or I don't know if strain is the right word, but the type that her family had was a really fast moving. So she was basically like thinks she's terminal, and she was like her hand was starting to go numb, and she was like, well, I'm terminal, so I can't get into this relationship with this beautiful man.
Yeah.
And it kind of went from there, and this one was also very serious, but I ended up actually really liking it. I thought I was going to hate the YouTube portion of it. It cringed me out a little bit, the way that they would kind of talk, like some of the lingo. I was like, that's not really like, you know, it didn't make sense, but
Yeah.
I still really liked it.
But wasn't there scenes, I feel like, this is like when I come over to your house and you're filming a video or something where he like hears her talking to the camera being like, hey guys. Like,
I think so, yeah. Or like he right after they first met, she like made a video about him and she was like, he's got Jesus's abs or whatever. Like, so
yeah, and it's
cute.
like Jesus' abs, and everybody knows who he is.
And she was, the thing to me that felt unrealistic about it is obviously there's some YouTubers who are so famous, but the way that they were describing her was that she was like so famous. I'm trying to think of even an equivalent YouTuber for today's standards. Like she was like
Zoella.
yeah, but to me, even Zoella's like, she's so big, but she's niche, you know? And this was like, she's like the most famous. Like she can't go to the grocery store without maybe like
Mr. Beast.
yeah, like Mr. Beast, I guess that would be a good example where it's like they're so popular, or like David Dobrik, where like everybody knows them.
Yeah.
But I thought that again, it was just the miscommunication where she didn't really outright tell him, I think I have ALS, but also she was like, oh, well, he watches my videos, so of course he knows. Overall, I really liked it. I think the one part that I didn't like, which again, I feel like she writes things that are infuriating, but they're realistic. Because when he found out, okay, you literally might be terminal, and she was like, I'm not going to go through treatment. Like, I saw my sister do it. I'm not going to live like that. I don't want all these tests. I don't want all these medications. And he was like, no, you have to. And she was like, I'm literally not doing that. That, to me,
yeah,
I was like, it's her life. She can choose what to do with it. But then again, as the partner, like, of course you're going to be like, well, what do you mean? You're just going to let yourself die?
I remember feeling that too, like exactly the same, where it's like, she's being a freaking fool. But if this was me and I knew my partner was like not wanting to do treatment, like, yes, I will literally force you. I'm dragging you to the freaking hospital.
Yeah, but at the same time, for her,
like,
she's
you can't. It's like bodily autonomy.
I feel like if I was in her position and had seen somebody go through treatment and it wasn't going to work and it ended up making it more miserable, why would I want to do that?
I know.
So I feel like that was hard.
Yeah, that one was hard. And I think it was kind of similar to the friend zone situation, where it's like, not lying by omission, but it's like she gets to decide how she wants to move forward with this, and it might not be what you want to do as like her partner or whatever. But I think I remember really liking Adrian in this book.
I did
and
too.
He is intertwined because he's the cousin of Brandon.
He's Josh's cousin.
So
Because Sloane went on a date with him. Yeah. And then they like came in as a cameo for this book, where he like made her a whole birthday party and Sloane was there because she had one of Sloane Monroe's paintings in her house.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, I know Sloane Monroe. She's like, you know Sloane Monroe? Because she's like a big famous like painter now. And I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, I thought that was really sweet that he like orchestrated all that, and they're like, oh, you really like her, and he's like, literally, yes, I do.
Yeah.
I don't remember when it ended up happening with the daughter, but I know another big theme was the dad.
Yes, so the dad was a hoarder, so that was a whole big issue. She had like a lot of struggles with her family, and he at the end, she ended up basically breaking up with Adrian over the whole issue of like whether or not she was going to get treatment, and I think they were broken up for 3-4 months or something, and she was like, okay, I'm moving out of the apartment, I'm giving my daughter to my dad, like the sister was in rehab, whatever, like gotta go. And she ended up traveling around the world, and he tracked her down. It became this like big social media thing where he's like, I have to find her, I screwed up. He followed her all the way across the world, like, and it was because he was afraid of flying. And like he didn't want to get on a plane. And so he literally was like, well, I went to therapy. I got, my medication or whatever. I figured it out. And he like flew all around the world to find her. And I think it ended up that he was going through to try and adopt the daughter. Because he was like her caretaker as well.
He like set up the dad with like the psychiatrist, right?
Yes.
Like a therapist.
Yeah.
And then he started dating able to clean therapists. Is that what happened?
I don't know about that. But yeah, I thought that was kind of sweet. I just loved like the baby part because he was like,
oh, I know.
There's nothing hotter than like a man with a baby.
Yeah.
I love a dad.
A father.
Yeah.
A papa.
I love it.
Yeah. I mean, I like this one better than the Happy Ever After playlist.
Dang, you're a hater. I think I probably also did, but I liked both. Okay, so now we're on to what I would consider her more popular series that a lot of people have probably read, because Yours Truly and Just for the Summer were like really big, I think.
Yeah.
But the first one in this series was Part of Your World, which has just a cute little cover. So this one is about Alexis and Daniel. He lives in a small little town. He's a carpenter, owns a bed and breakfast, and he's just like the sweet caretaker of this like family home. And she is a surgeon, and she goes out there with her friends as like a little girls' weekend or whatever. And her friends are like so city and like little biatches and like are kind of judgy about the house and the bed and breakfast, whatever, and like rude.
Well, before that, she's driving through.
Oh, yes. Yeah. The beginning is she's driving through and he like helps her fix her or tow her car or whatever because she like falls into a ditch.
Yeah, because she's coming back from she ran away from her wedding, no?
No.
Oh, did I just write my own book?
Didn't
she?
I thought that she was coming home from like a conference or something.
Like a funeral? It was something.
Honestly?
We don't know, you guys.
I don't know, but yeah, I think that they like went to a bar and hung out and stuff, and like he was like, she was like, oh, cute. But yeah, it's just like part of your world, like two worlds collide kind of thing, because she's a city girl with a job and she can't leave the job because it's like her whole family. It's like a
the Montgomerys. They make it seem like they're like the royal family that from Rhode Island that Taylor Swift sings about.
Yes, completely. So she basically is like, I can't leave my job and move out to the country. And he also can't leave because he like owns and runs this business, you know. So this one, I remember as I was reading it, this was the first Abby Jimenez book I ever read. I didn't love it as I was reading it, but in hindsight, I like have a soft spot of nostalgia for it. And I'm like, I actually really liked it.
See, I read this one out of order. So
right.
The first book I read of this series was Just for the Summer. And then I read Yours Truly. And then I read Part of Your World, I'm pretty sure.
That's crazy.
So I read them out of order. So I kind of knew the role that Daniel played in Just for the Summer. So I kind of understood that. But basically, he runs the bed and breakfast that his family left him. As in left, like he had to buy it from them because his parents were kind of the worst.
Well, yeah, his mom is like off gallivanting around the world, and every once in a while we'll call him and be like, I need money, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. And so he like bought it from them, and then the mom is also in Part of Your World, and they're just like basically like kind of two completely different people.
Oh my God,
I really like this one. I know you didn't love it, but I love
I honestly... I did love it. I just didn't realize it at the time. Sometimes you got to marinate on books a little bit. It was just such an idyllic, cute, again, the dog, like the way she writes animals into books is like they're a main
And she
character.
has this dog too.
And he's like a scruffy, crazy, like she would get out of the car and he's all, wow.
Yeah, she has this dog too. And what I liked about this book was that there was a theme where people would be like, oh, the city or this town like will choose you kind of thing. And so
that was
it was
weird.
like the magic. Yeah, that was kind of weird, but it's like the magic, and like she saw like the wind and the door closed and the car rolled back or something. Yeah, that was kind of a lot, but it was sweet.
It was sweet. Yeah, that was funny. It was kind of giving magical realism in a weird way, but it was cute. There was like all
this was
like
her writing her dystopian novel.
Yeah. I just loved the side characters in this, like the whole town. And the way they like all really came together and stuff, it was really cute.
And so what is it? The goat or the pig with?
Oh, of course, the pig. Yeah,
what was his name?
And the way that like Daniel was. This is like. See, I think the reason that I didn't love it at first is because that's not my type of guy. He was very much your type of guy, like golden retriever, sweet, angel, little cute boy, like so nice,
like a sweet man.
Yeah, whereas I prefer like a sassy little man like Josh.
And all he wanted was for her to choose him, and he's like, I'm waiting for you, sweetie pie, like come to me, I'm waiting for you. And she was like, I can't. And he's like, please.
Sweet. But then she did, and they lived happily ever after.
That they did. Yeah, that was exciting. I'm trying to think if she ended up basically keeping her job and like standing her ground, but also opening up like a health center in the town.
Well, I think she gave up. She was supposed to become like the director or whatever.
Oh, like head of surgery or something.
Yeah, and she was like, I'm not doing that. Like, goodbye. I'm going to go open up a clinic, like a separate clinic.
Yeah, and you guys have to be okay with it because if not, then you're gonna be literally so embarrassed. And the brother.
The brother was dating and married Lola Simone from the first series.
Yeah.
It was crazy reading the other series after reading this because Lola Simone, like they made her sound like a little complicated in this book, but I didn't realize she had like scandal after scandal and drug use and rehab and like it was crazy.
I know. And I think because I think I also read Just for the Summer as my very, very first one. And then I went back and read the first bunch. You read them the right way. I read them reverse. So I had already been exposed to all of these people. And I was like, oh, shoot. Like, this is what happened to her. So, yeah, I think that was kind of crazy. But I will say, soft spot for Daniel. I love, you're right. Like, I love him and the dog that he has. Like, remember the scene where the dog is just, like, waiting for Alexis to come and, like, she doesn't come?
No.
Like, I could literally cry.
Yeah, but that was, like, literally like Daniel as well. He was, like, a little puppy dog waiting for her.
I know.
Yeah,
but,
that book was sweet.
Loved.
So cute.
Yeah, that one was really sweet.
I love that one.
I'm glad that you came around to it because you were being a hater and I was like, wrong.
Well, we'll have... The ranking is going to be interesting because I think you're going to not love mine.
Okay.
But that brings us to next up, Yours Truly, which I feel like might be her most recognizable book, potentially.
You think?
I think that this is the one that I had heard of first. I think Just for the Summer because it was like a new big release. But this one to me, when I at least got onto Book Talk, I feel like this is the one that I heard of first about her.
Yeah.
But this one of my favorites is about Brianna and Jacob. And this is like the whole fake dating one. And it's My Anxious King. So she's they're both ER doctors and he comes in as the new ER doctor in town or whatever. And he's like super nice to everybody or whatever. And she's like, oh my God, he's coming in to steal my promotion because she's trying to get promoted. And she hates him at the beginning. She's like, who is this joker? And he's so nervous because he's my anxious king. He's got social anxiety. He's trying to come in and he's like, oh my God, like nobody's going to like me. And it's this whole thing. And he tries to kind of like win her favor because she literally hates him. And then they end up fake dating because his ex invited him to the wedding.
His ex is dating his brother.
Oh, he's dating the brother. Yes. Oh my God.
That was crazy.
Crazy. So of course he has to go because now his brother's dating his ex. Rude. And he's
That's
like, yeah, I'm going to bring my
insane.
girlfriend. And then he brings her. And of course, it's just, fake dating is like one of the best tropes ever. I love it so much.
Now, my favorite part about this was I love Brianna's character. Like, I think she's
sassy.
hilarious. Like, I love her. And I'm pretty sure she's like a sassy little Latina.
Yes, for sure.
Because I think she's actually cute. She's something because they make like her traditional like food. Remember when he's like sick or something?
Oh, I don't remember that. I do know that this is the book where her brother he needs a kidney. Forgive me if that's not right. He has like he needs some type of transplant. Remember? And she was like really stressed about it.
Oh, her brother. Yeah.
Her brother, yeah.
Yeah, and then Jacob ends up, spoiler alert, giving her the kidney.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. When they're like broken up, I think.
Yes. And he didn't want to tell anybody about it.
Yeah, he didn't tell anyone. I love it because I'm pretty sure. I also get these all like.
I know. I'm starting to get these confused.
But this is the one where they write letters to each other, isn't it?
You're so right. How could I forget?
I love writing letters, you guys. I am such a letter writer. Like, I just am.
So,
Give me a pencil.
I need to reread this book. It's so cute. And my favorite thing about it is, sincerely. Here's the little letters.
So basically, I think what I liked about it was how they were showing her seeing Jacob and being like, he's not talking to anybody. He has attitude. And he's like, I'm so nervous to talk to anybody. And so then he's like, starts writing to her like, I'm so sorry, that was rude or whatever. And then he gives her Nadia's cupcakes.
Yes.
Yeah, so that was cute. But I don't like how it ended, I will say, full disclosure. But I like the back and forth and like the point of view of like how you perceive someone's actions and how they're actually feeling inside, and how
Yeah.
sometimes it could be completely different. Like you have no idea what someone is going through, which kind of ties back to like her keeping the real themes. Like his anxiety was like a big part of his character development, his relationships with everybody, and with the brother, he's like, I can't be bothered. Like I hate you because you're doing this, but like I have bigger fish to fry.
Yeah. I think the anxiety representation was very true to like how I have like a different type of anxiety. I don't have so much social anxiety like he did in the book, but the way that she showed up as a partner and like responded to it, I felt even before they were actually like romantically involved, when they were just fake dating or whatever, I feel like she was really good about like handling his panic attacks and stuff like that,
Yeah.
compared to like his ex who didn't really know how to handle it and who kind of thought it was like, it was like annoying, you know,
Yeah.
whatever. And I feel like all of us like mentally ill girlies were like, oh, we love this book because it felt like true, like good representation. And I also feel like men don't get a lot of mental health representation in books or anything, because normally
Yeah.
it's like the girl who, it's like not talked about as much for guys. And I feel like it was nice to see that he was the one with the anxiety and she was like had to show up for him in that way. I loved it.
Yeah, I noticed that too, that she chose for the anxiety to be for Jacob and not for her, where I feel like, I don't know, I feel like I read about anxiety in women a lot more
Yeah.
in some of the books, but I liked it. I felt like I don't suffer with anxiety that I recognize, I think, like sometimes different situations, but I felt like I would be able to pick up on things, like she picked up on ways to comfort
Mhm.
him where no one else would notice, but like she kind of understood that he was nervous. I think there was like a scene where they were like talking to someone and she could tell that he was like kind of freaking out, and she's like just like tapping his arm or just like, you know, whatever things that he would do to like kind of soothe himself. She was able to pick up on that. I
Yeah,
loved
which is so
him and I
sweet.
loved her, and I don't like that she got pregnant at the end.
The way I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Hello, did I even read this book? She got pregnant?
Did I totally make that up? I'm pretty sure she got pregnant.
You might be so right.
Accidental
I don't
pregnancy.
mind a pregnancy. I don't mind an accidental pregnancy trope.
I just
Personally.
remember because I'm pretty sure that the mom, or she like was trying to figure out how to tell her mom. No?
Am
Should I
I
look it up?
so
Am I
psychotic that I don't
am I
remember
just
that?
riffing here?
I mean, the thing about me is that things just like go in one ear and out the other.
Oh yeah, yours truly
Surgery
pregnancy.
day. What? Okay, well, who knew? Apparently it didn't bother me that
Oh
much.
wait,
because...
sorry.
Okay, guys, we've done mild research into the book and did confirm they did have a baby. She was afraid that he was just having a baby with her. Like, obviously, it was an accidental pregnancy, and she was like, "Oh well, you didn't
You're
like
just
me this
staying
whole time."
because yeah.
Because they were lying and saying like, "Oh yeah, well, like we don't actually like each other. We're just doing this for the whatever." But
Yep.
he was like, "Okay, here, read my journal." This was like while he was doing the surgery for the brother, and
I
she read and
forgot.
saw. Yeah,
I forgot the
all of
journal,
this.
and I remember when he would like go to his little desk and like go and write. I thought that was so cute.
I love him. Sweet, precious little angel. Anyway, that's
Sweet.
really funny because I don't remember a damn thing about this book except for that the vibes were 10 out of 10 the entire time. I loved every second of it.
Yeah, I loved. Love.
That's so funny. Okay, so last but not least in our two little trilogies is Just for the Summer, my personal favorite cover. How cute. Gorge, obsessed.
That was viral. Like, what a time in our lives when that was like everywhere.
Yes. Oh, so fun. This one is Justin and Emma. And this one is the one which like had the cutest premise where every time that they broke up with somebody, their ex would then move on and find their husband or wife. So they were like, okay. And they were like on Reddit and they were like, well, I also have this issue. And they were like, why don't we just date? And then when we break up, and they had all these rules. They were like, we have to do, 2 dates a month or text this amount of times. Like they had all these
Yeah.
rules. And they were like, okay, well, when we break up, then we'll go on to find our husband or our wife. Like, amazing. And she was a travel nurse and ended up living, they were also in Minnesota, like on a little lakeside cottage in the back of this like weird guy's house on an island with her friend. All I remember about this book specifically is that there was a lot of throwing up.
The norovirus of it all.
Literally like 10, 20, 30 pages of it. And I was like, I'm okay with a little barfing, but that went on a little too long for me.
Yeah. This is my, spoiler alert for my ranking. This is my personal favorite. But again, I read them all out of order. I read this one first. So
yeah.
I loved
People
this one
love this
because
book.
what ended up happening was Brianna is a nurse with her, but that's not like her friend. I know Brianna's like involved in this book as well, but she ends up she's a travel nurse, the main girl, what's her name, Emma, and she's on Reddit. And I think what happens is Justin posted a thread, I think, like if I don't remember exactly what happened. Justin posted a thread being like, I named my dog Brad, and it's also, or like I named my dog the name of something, wasn't it? And then the Toilet King, remember that?
Yes, Brad. And Brad shows up in the new book. Did you notice that?
No.
Literally at the beginning, Xavier is like, oh yeah, I was, seeing a bunch of patients today, which are dogs, obviously. And he's like, one of them is named Brad. It was like a joke.
Oh yeah.
Did you miss that?
I didn't remember
So
that.
cute. I know, I need to find the line. It was something along the lines of, he was like, oh, one of my regulars, Brad. Like,
Oh
and
my
they're
God,
like, who names their dog
cute.
Brad? Yeah.
Yeah, so like the whole Reddit thread that started it was like, my dog's name is Brad, my best friend's name is Brad. Like, is this wrong? Or am I the asshole? That was like the Reddit thread that like blew up.
Because he was dating his ex, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so. And then they ended up chit-chatting, and I just loved that. I loved the element of
So
like they
cute.
connected on that, and it was hilarious. And he was like, send me a photo of you, and she's like, no, you send me a photo of you. And then it was like real time with like the little newspaper. And then the whole, did you catch on to the person that they found with dementia that was at the bus stop was the mom?
Yes. That is crazy.
That was crazy.
Crazy. But yeah, there was, my favorite part about this book was the way it was so intertwined with the other ones, because Emma had this like crazy, again, like absent mom. Yeah. And it turned out that she was the half sibling of Daniel from Part of Your World. And she thought she had no family. She was like, oh yeah, she had been like lying to her about being adopted or something like that, and she found out that she had this half brother with like a big happy family now later, after Part of Your World happened, and she like went to go visit them and stuff, and that was really cool.
She was adopted by the girl that was traveling with her and her mom's, right? I think
that's what it was, I think. Yeah, because the mom was like really absent, but then she found out, it was because she found out that the mom had left her for Daniel and that side of the family, and he was like, oh yeah, she was like there for me growing up. Obviously now she's kind of problematic and asking for money, but then Justin, the main guy in Just for the Summer, he was basically having to become the caretaker for all the siblings because his mom was going to jail. So it was like there was a lot happening in this book.
There was a lot happening, and the Emma's mom ends up being like, I'm gonna stay with you, daughter, like I love you. And then she ends up falling in love with Alexis's ex-fiance.
Yes, shut up, I forgot about that.
And in my mind, there's a scene where they are going on a yacht. Like there's the way that Emma is a travel nurse, she's staying at like an off lake cottage from like a main mansion house. And the main mansion house is Alexis's old house.
Yes.
And that's where Emma's mom ends up staying with the guy. I forget his name. I don't even remember.
And then she like goes crazy. She like bought a bunch of flowers.
Crazy,
oh my
God. That was really sad. But that was insane. And also every time I would imagine Emma coming home from work, I would imagine her pedaling in like a little tiny boat. Just like, and I think that's literally what it was. They had to like row out every time and at the end of the day. I loved it because I just love Justin. Like, I think he's so funny. And I also think that in my mind, he's like so sweet and so cute. And he was like obsessed with her. And he was also trying to like navigate him having to take care of his family. I shouldn't be in a relationship, but let's do this thing for the next 6 months while your travel contract is still in Minnesota so that I can find love afterward. But then he falls in love and it's just so sweet.
I feel like now that we're talking about this, I need to change. I'm changing my ranking slightly.
Yeah, because you love it so much.
No, I wouldn't say that, but
No. Okay.
and well, that's it, guys. Obviously, last we're going to talk about Say You'll Remember Me, but should we rank really quick?
Yeah.
Because I feel like we have a similar ranking, sort of, ish.
Perfect.
Maybe not actually.
Okay, well, literally, okay, we wrote favorite things about Abby Jimenez's books. All I wrote, I love her men, Justin.
Yeah, something that we didn't really touch on is how these books really aren't spicy. There's like she writes some spice into them a little bit, but it's kind of like mild pepper, you know, nothing crazy.
Yeah.
Which normally I like a spicy book, but I don't miss it in these. I feel like she has the perfect amount for somebody who is okay with a little bit but doesn't love like a really smutty like Elsie Silver book, you know?
I would think because she touches on like the deeper issues, if there was also like a ton of smut, I would feel so overwhelmed.
Yeah, it wouldn't it's like you can't be talking about ALS and dementia and, you know, addiction on one page and then smut on the next page.
Yeah, it's like kind of hard. Like maybe you can, but would love to see it done well. Okay, you can rank yours first.
Okay, I say we go bottom up. So my number 7 spot, last, unfortunately, is her new book, Say You'll Remember Me.
Mine as well.
Yes. Number 6 would be the Happy Ever After playlist. 5 would be Life's Too Short. 4 is Just for the Summer, which I switched. I was originally going to put Just for the Summer at 5 and Life's Too Short at 4, but now I swapped it because I did like Just for the Summer. Number 3, I put Part of Your World. Number 2, I put The Friend Zone. And number 1, I put Yours Truly, which apparently is funny because I don't remember literally any of that book. But Yours Truly, all of her other books, Say You'll Remember Me, I ranked out of 3. The rest of them were 4. And Yours Truly is the only one I gave 5 stars out of all her books. Everything else to me was like so amazing, but Yours Truly was like a 5-star for me.
Yeah, I think it's like that saying, like, you don't remember someone, but you remember how they made you feel. Like, no, I remember how Yours Truly made me feel.
Yes. Like, and actually, I remember like giggling, kicking my feet. I loved it.
I know. So I loved the letter writing and then like the visual in my mind of him going home and literally in his little journal.
Yes. I think that's what it was, honestly, is the letter writing. I thought it was like so cute.
I love it. I love it. When Ben and I were long distance, we would write little cards to each other. So I was like, sweet.
That's sweet.
Okay. Mine, bottoms up. Sadly, like Niki, Say You'll Remember Me is the bottom for me. After that is Happy Ever After playlist in 6th place. In 5th,
we have the same bottom too.
Life's Too Short. So
we're the same bottom 3.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy.
4th, The Friend Zone. Sorry.
Okay. Interesting.
3rd, Part of Your World, because I really loved Daniel. Like I really, really did.
Yeah.
2nd, Yours Truly, and 1st, no surprise to anybody, my sweet, sweet man, Justin, Just for the Summer.
So I love it. And liked that trio much more than the other trio, is what I'm hearing.
I did. Again, I am biased to like, I read Just for the Summer first. Like maybe it would have been different if I would have read another one first. And I did completely read them all out of order. So, I think that, but I feel strongly about my first 3 and the ranking of them. So,
yeah.
I love Justin, I love Daniel. Ooh.
Well, the elephant in the room, unfortunately, is that we both ranked Abby's new book, Say You'll Remember Me, at the bottom. I would like to preface this by saying, Abby, if you're seeing this, I'm so sorry. I loved every single other one of your books. This one I didn't hate it. I didn't hate it. It just didn't live up to my expectations, unfortunately.
Yeah. I have so many thoughts. But I also have like so many feelings. But
okay, let's do a quick recap. Easy. This one is Samantha and Xavier, or Xavier, or however you pronounce it.
I call him Javier.
Javier? I thought it was Xavier.
I call him Xavier too, but...
Oh, okay. Well, Javier. Anyway, Samantha and Xavier, they have like this whirlwind date and romance because, first of all, they meet at the vet's office because, of course, he's a hot veterinarian. She takes her cat Pooter in there, which was my personal favorite part of the book, was Pooter. Love. And Pooter needed a butthole surgery, and so he was like, no, you need to put Pooter down. She's like, I'm not putting Pooter down. I'm getting him a butthole surgery, and she got him a butthole surgery.
And she's from the South now.
Yes, and so Pooter, live, laugh, love. She like GoFundMe got the funds for Pooter. Anyway, so she goes back in. They decide to go on a date. They go on this boat thing. They go play mini golf. They get locked in an escape room overnight. And they really like fall for each other on this first date because it was an amazing night-long date, which I think could happen. Okay, I'm down for the first date.
I think so too.
Yeah. So then she has to, literally the next morning, move away to California because she's going to live with her mom who has dementia. And it's very quickly getting bad. So basically they went straight from just meeting to being long distance, essentially. So obviously the story follows them like trying to navigate long distance, figuring out what they're going to do. There's like no clear end in sight for either of them because she's like, I'm not going to leave my mom. She barely remembers who I am as it is. My family needs help, whatever. And he's in a ton of debt for opening his own practice and his own business. He wants to prove to his like shitty parents that he can make something of himself, whatever. So that's kind of like the main pain point in the book, obviously. So why don't you fire away? We haven't talked about this yet, guys. Mariana has I've been saying this whole time, you were in an actual long distance relationship and can speak to this, I think. So tell me what you thought.
I think I am very biased reading this, but I think let's address the first High Lord in the room as well. I think that my biggest critique is that for my personal taste, look at me like tiptoeing as if like Abby's watching me right now. My personal taste, I don't love a super, super modern book. As in like, I don't want to be reading about thirst comments on TikTok. Like that's just not.
Although one of them was really funny, I thought. There was like one part where they were talking
like a few
about
that were really funny.
I should have pulled up the highlight, but it was like, oh, I need him in a way that's concerning to feminism. I was like, that's so funny because that's so TikTok. She got it. But in 5 years, it's gonna sound stupid, you know?
No, it's hard. Like I think that right off the bat, first scene, Pooter, like
I love
the Pooter of it all. Kind of
finally
got me.
Some cat representation in these books.
It was endearing, I think. The whole butthole thing of it all. I don't know about that. I did like that in my mind when she came to the office. He was like in her bra, and she's like, "Hello, I have this cat." But I didn't like that they referenced ACOTAR. Like I don't know. I love ACOTAR.
Like 10
I love
times they referenced it.
No, I know why.
I was like maybe once, like one off comment about he looks like Rhysand, like whatever. But first of all, literally spoiler alert for anybody who's maybe only read the first book. Weird.
Yeah, I know.
But
I
also,
thought that
like,
too.
It was too much. It was too much.
It was a lot. And I will say I did really like the character of the two vet assistants.
Yeah, they were cute.
Like, yeah, they were cute in my mind. That I think is like one of the biggest things is how modern it felt. I did like that they were in LA and like we were saying in the beginning, like we kind of knew where everything was, and I was like, oh yeah,
they like lived in
like
Glendale.
You don't want to be there. Yeah, so I like that. Should we talk about like what else we liked?
Yeah, we could talk about. I mean, I really like. I know we're probably gonna sit here and shit on this book. Sorry to say, but I really didn't dislike it. Like I enjoyed it. To me, the problem mainly was that it felt like a bunch of random scenes put together, and I didn't feel the connection to the character. I think it's also because Xavier is like not my type of man. Again, like he was very quiet, not really funny. Like I want a funny, witty guy, and he wasn't that. He was like the like calm superhero dad, which is like some people love that. And I loved that he was a vet. I thought that was like so hot and cute that he like loved the kitten and he was good with dogs and good with every type of animal. Like sweet. But I liked her character more than his, but she was also frustrating me. So I think it was just, to me, I didn't feel connected or to any of the side characters. Like in all the other books, I loved the side characters. But in this one, I never liked really any of them.
It was a lot. So, okay. So like let's dive into the long distance of everything. Okay.
Yeah. That was like the main piece of it.
So here's what happened. I met my sweet man that lives upstairs. And we had a whirlwind of a sweet first date. And then he went back home to Ireland. And I was still in London. But like this is where we met up. Anyway, if you guys want to hear about that, I'll tell you another day. But
I see.
We met up one night here. and then fell in love. And then the first night we met one night and then parted ways. And then we met again one night and parted ways. Anyway, so I could see where you meet someone and you're like, I like you. Like, I like you. And I can see that. He felt very, not Ben, Xavier. Xavier felt very like obsessed in a way. Like, oh my God, I need to see her. Like, I need to see her right now. And that kind of got me like the ick. Sorry.
Yeah, I feel that. Yeah, because I like toxically kind of like a man who like isn't obsessed, you know? Like at first. Because it's like you're obsessed, and then all of a sudden they become obsessed and you're like, what? I'm
like, no, I love an obsessed man. I do.
But like later, like, you know? Obsessed later. Yeah.
Later. The whole thing, the fact that they were both like 29, 28, too broke to go see each other. I know how much flights are from New York to Dublin, like $500. Okay, yes, that's a lot of money.
I'm sorry, LAX or Burbank to Minnesota is not that expensive. You could get cheap flights to do that.
No, you guys, the time difference. I was like, oh, easy, 2 hours. Like you must be kidding. 8 hours for me when I was in LA and Ben was in Dublin. Like, and Ben sat with me over coffee this weekend, and I said all this to him. I was like, this is crazy. Like the fact that they couldn't go 6 weeks without seeing each other, and they felt like they were dying, and he was sick, and he took a flight with pneumonia. Excuse me?
Oh my God.
Go to bed.
Yeah.
Ben and I had the rule of we will never go more than 60 days. That's 3 months. That's like 2 months. More than 60 days to like plan something. If we had to, or if we had other plans, like we can move things around. Why they felt like they needed to see each other and be a part of every single moment, or else they weren't building a life, was beyond me. Like that just kind of discredited other long distance relationships where like you kind of have to do it because you have to, and it's a lot of work and it's effort, and you're committing to that fully or you're not. You could still build like a very meaningful relationship not seeing someone every single day.
Yeah. I feel like in their situation, what made it harder, obviously it wasn't that long of a distance, it wasn't that whatever, but like even when they did get to see each other, it could really only be for like a weekend. You know, like yes, it could have been worked around in theory, but it's like he was running his own business and she was taking care of her mom, so they couldn't spend like a week together, you know, or they couldn't, I don't know. I just feel like with the timing of talking, it was like they were so busy. I don't know.
How about the time when Ben flew in to Newark? We picked him up on our little freaking van, drove to the Catskills.
For our birthday.
Yeah, for our birthday. We drove to the Catskills, swooped Ben up on Thursday, drove to the Catskills, drove him back to the airport on Sunday.
Yeah. That's a far flight. What's the distance New York to Dublin? Flight time? Like 6 hours?
6.5 hours one way and then like 7 hours the other way.
And LA to Minnesota is probably like 5 is my guess.
I think it's like 4.5 because I've definitely had layover in Minneapolis before.
Yeah, it's definitely not that crazy. And the time difference is definitely not that crazy. And also, yeah, the way that they were, because I mean, look, she's a social media manager. I wouldn't say that she probably made a ton of money, but like she, you know.
Then don't go see them. Like they made it seem like money was everything in order to see somebody. Like if you can't see them for 3 months, that's okay.
Yeah. It was a little, and also like, okay, this is such a sensitive topic with the mom. I kind of was, and especially after the grandma passed away, like she couldn't just leave. Like she needed to be there.
Why did the grandma die?
Well, first of all, that was crazy.
That was insane. Like, I woke up one day and she had passed away. Like, okay.
Yeah. Hello. That was like crazy out of left field, and didn't feel necessary to the story, in my opinion. But also like, just, I don't know. I just feel like she could have left for a weekend, you know, and then in turn take care of the boys and the mom. And so the sister can, you know what I mean? It's like, I don't know. I just like, I was annoyed. Like I really was. I was like, they're making it sound so miserable. Like you can only have everything or nothing. Like that's not life. Well, but they also didn't have like an end in sight Whereas I feel like you, at least you were able to make it so, okay, we are either we're going to make this work, I'm going to move to London and we're going to make it work, or it's not going to work. And you guys made it work. But for them, in theory, neither of them could move because he owned his business, was in all this debt, didn't have a backup plan for that. He couldn't leave, and she wasn't going to leave her mom. So I feel like that, because they were like, well, what are you going to do? You're going to, in 10 years, you'll be together? Like, you're going to do long distance for 10 years? That's crazy. So that probably also added to it.
I think it added to the franticness of it all. Like, I could see that where they were like, we're running out of time. But then, if I'm being honest, like, if you really don't see an end in sight, then don't be together. Then, like, I don't know. I was so annoyed because it just didn't make sense to me. Her attitude, and then the miscommunication trope where, like, they swapped and he went to her and she, like, biggest waste of time.
That scene made me so mad, where I was like, are you guys serious that you just both wasted all this money? Like, it's unnecessary to do the surprise thing.
They were dating for 3 months, Nikki.
That's crazy. That scene really grinded my gears. I was like, girl, just communicate with each other, please. You just wasted all your money.
No, and, like, truth be told, if it was her, or if I was her, and there's so much going on with her family, your priorities need to shift, girl. Like, yes, I get that you had a whirlwind UFO date with this really hot Rhysand, but, like, take care of your mom if really it's hard. Like, I don't know, because she had just gotten there and she was already trying to make it work. But then I guess he also shut up. That's what I was saying. Like, he's kind of obsessive.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the whole thing.
I didn't like the brother character either.
No, I didn't really get it. I didn't feel like that added to it. I didn't feel like, I don't know. I just felt like it was an incomplete, kind of rushed book where she pulled pieces of, like, wanting to be really modern and wanting to be really funny, and, like, it felt forced to me. And there were pieces of it that I really liked. Like, there were moments in the book where I was like, oh, I really like that, or really, this is funny, or whatever. Like, I got it, but it just felt a little too disjointed. Like, the whole thing with, like, the pug being saved from the car, like, that was so random to me.
That was so weird. I was telling Ben this. I was like, so unnecessary for you to, I'm so sorry, off a dog. Like, that was one of the trigger warnings. I don't know if you like read them, but it was like, there's gonna be a dog, but then he comes back. Why did that have to happen? Like, that's so sad.
Wait, which part? No, I'm talking about when he saved the pug out of the car.
When the pug died and then he brought it back to life.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a trigger warning.
Yeah. Oh. I mean, yeah, it was sad, but he was, like, the hero because he saved the pug.
Okay, but why did she have to kill a pug?
Right. I mean, well, but he didn't, like, actually die. He, like, lived, you know?
Yeah, but he died.
Or he was, like, about to die in the hot car.
No, he fully died, Nikki.
Did he?
Yes.
Like, on the cement, and then he revived him?
In the car. He, like, collapsed and then he, like, wasn't breathing, right? Like, did I read that wrong?
Yeah. I mean, so he, like, died, you know what I mean?
Okay, yes.
Because, like, he wasn't, like, dead forever. Anyway, regardless, like, that whole scene, it was like, yeah, he was the hero and he had the, you know, he wiped his brow with his sexy abs and went viral on TikTok or whatever, but it's like, why? Like, what was the point of that?
Literally, and I don't know, it was maybe for her to include that scene where Samantha's, like, with the phone being like, hey, say your name, I'm going to send it to your employer. Like, that also felt really modern.
Yeah, I really do. To me, okay, compare this one to the one about Life's Too Short with the YouTuber. That one felt, yes, it was modern, but it didn't feel dated reading it later. You know, it's like the lingo didn't quite age well, but it wasn't like they were putting internet jokes and, like, book references and all these things. You know, it's kind of like in 10 years, if somebody reads this book, it would, I mean, which is still kind of relevant, but being like, oh, he looks like Edward from Twilight. It's like the next generation of readers, like, aren't
okay, why'd you have to go there, first of all? Why'd you have to go there?
You know what I mean? But, like, reading that now in a book would be kind of like, what? Like, it's like, you can tell when it was written. It literally immediately puts you into when it was written. TikTok might get banned, and then they're going to be on there talking about TikTok.
Wait, don't they talk about Edward in this book?
Honestly, probably, yeah. I wouldn't even be surprised.
I'm like, yeah, for sure. I didn't, yeah. And then also the whole thing with the dad,
Oh, that's like a whole other
why?
thing. Why?
That made me
Why?
so uncomfortable. Like, it made me
It
really
never
sad.
got resolved. There was no moral of this. Like, why would they make I don't know. And I also like I thought personally that they should have ended up putting her in a home, which is like maybe that's controversial,
I
but
agree, though.
like it's not worth the mom, you know that yes, she said before she like really got into the weeds of her dementia like I want to be at home. What mother would want their whole family miserable taking care of them and when you had the option to like give her better care?
I think I will never know until, like, hopefully never
Yeah.
have to be in that situation. But, like,
Yeah, of course it's easier said than done.
you want your, you would want them to be safe. Like, I think that was the biggest thing for me. It's like she could run outside. She can, like, that
Yeah,
was
she
so
could hurt
scary.
herself. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
scary.
And like
Yeah.
everything was like locked up, and then when she ran out and got tangled up, and then everybody was yelling at the brother, like that was uncalled for. But like, why did they have to make it that the dad was like seeing someone else? Like that was really
That
weird.
was so weird. And I feel like it was never, again, it didn't add to the character development or the story. It just was like a thing that was like icky and uncomfortable for everyone. I just didn't
Yeah.
feel like it was necessary.
And I wonder if it's to include like another realistic element of like what kind of goes on. But
Yeah.
I think that we could have, I think it was enough without that.
Yeah. It's like real life is uncomfortable and obviously these things happen. But yeah, I don't know. The one thing that I did also like though is with Xavier's character, I thought it was really sweet and nice to see how he was with everyone. Like you could tell that he was just, even though he had such traumatic upbringing with his awful parents, I actually
Mhm.
kind of liked that storyline of him like his parents still reaching out to him and being like, "Well, don't you want to reconnect?" And then him being like, "No." And she's like, "What do you mean no?" Like that felt real, like a toxic family situation.
Okay, but
But it
about the parents, like, why did they have to drown the dogs?
Oh yeah, that was crazy. Well,
Like
because
that
it
was
made him want to be a vet or whatever. But like, why? Yeah, that was like a visual we didn't need.
no, there was a trigger warning for that too.
Yeah, that was really sad. Yeah,
That
I mean,
was
it
so
just to show how evil
unnecessary.
they were, I guess. But I don't know why. I thought that the dog was gonna have the babies and then like they were gonna be stillborn or something because she was not getting care or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I thought too that we're like jumping around so much. I'm like trying to
I
think
know.
of what made me react. I thought it was a bit unrealistic, the whole Hank thing, the older vet, and it ended up being the
Oh
vet
yeah,
where he's like, "Let me sit down and talk to you about why you should uproot your entire life." And then, of course, happy ever after, like everything ended up working out. He opened a second clinic in the most expensive city
yeah,
in the United States, Santa Monica, like
yeah.
California. Like, okay, that was unrealistic. But I guess the moral is like he needed to hear that Hank was proud of him. Someone was proud so that he can like let go
Yeah.
of having to
I liked all
live in
that.
order to please his parents. But you don't know
And
Hank
how
from
he was
freaking
like,
Adam.
how Hank was like, I if I could have one more minute with my wife, I would, and he's like, dude, what are you doing? Like, just go be with her or whatever. I thought that was sweet. And yeah, it was. I think her other books are more realistic, sort of. Like they felt more realistic, even though they're kind of not. But this one, yeah, that did feel a bit far-fetched. But I thought he was sweet. Like his character was nice in the way that he was such a good like caretaker. He innately knew the animals. Like one of my favorite parts was how when he came to visit, he just really instinctively sat down and was like checking Pooter's teeth and ears and stuff. And I
Yeah.
was like, oh, that's so cute. Like he's just like wants everybody to be good. Like he's like in his element. So I thought his character was sweet and like I can see how they worked well together and stuff, but it just oof,
And
didn't do
it
it for
was
me.
her whole job being like a social media manager or the
Mhm.
marketing thing. I actually really liked that she had like her personality come across through her tweets
Yeah,
and
it was funny.
her Instagram posts. I really liked that.
But
But
I don't think
then
that'll age well.
I don't think so either. But also, why did you have to get fired?
Yeah. I mean, I saw that coming right away when she was like, they're merging. I was like, girl, you're getting fired. You're getting laid off. I was like, this is
You're
not
like, I
good.
can't believe
She's
you
like,
didn't
oh,
see
my
it.
job won't be affected. I'm like, Grr, we all know how that goes.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. I wonder I think there's something with her sister, Geneva.
Well, the next two books we just looked and found out are about his two friends. So it's not even about the sister.
You
I
don't
thought
think
that
they're
the sister was going to get a story. Unless maybe
Oh.
the sister gets with the friend, but
I think
But
that
yeah,
would
I didn't
definitely
like
that could
any of
definitely happen.
the
I
side
know.
characters.
And like I just feel like there's so many elements that she was trying to workshop. The
Yeah,
remodeling of the house.
random.
I was so confused.
And the way that the
Like no one
remodeling of the
has
house
money.
was
You
the
have no
reason
money
that
to go
yeah,
buy
they had
flights.
no
Why are
money.
you taking an equity loan?
No, when the mom literally, it's like, okay, if your house is junky, like whatever, it's not like it was like it was a danger or anything like that. But it's like you're paying for your mom's. Everybody's trying to pay for their mom's care. Like, why are you worrying about remodeling your house?
That was weird. I don't know. I would love to sit with her and ask her like what she was thinking because then maybe everything would click.
It did feel as if she was kind of experimenting with this book, which I don't hate. Again, like, I feel like we just sat here and shit on this book. I didn't hate it. I really didn't. Like, while I was reading it, I wasn't like, oh, this sucks. I think it was compared to her other books. It didn't feel like Abby to me. You know what I mean? Like, there were certain pieces of it where I was like, ooh, she really did that. Like, yeah, I like this, this, and this. But it
Yeah.
was too modern. It just was different. And so I'm wondering if she kind of was like, hey, I've been so successful, like let's try and switch it up a little bit, because I think eventually, like, how many romance books can you write that aren't
Yeah.
redundant? So maybe she was just trying stuff, and I feel like people will be giving this. I've heard whisperings of similar feedback to what we're saying right now, with like
Oh,
all the
really?
references being too modern and this and this. So we'll see how it goes for the next books.
I'm very interested. And what I will say is, again, I am biased because I feel like the whole long distance thing,
Yeah,
it it was just it made it seem like so much work, which it is, but then don't do it.
yeah, yeah,
I'm like, don't
yeah. It was
remodel a
like they
house if you
had
can't afford a
to.
flight.
Yeah.
Like, I
Which,
don't
like,
know.
literally, okay, I'm Googling right now, LAX, but she was probably flying into Burbank, is my guess. LAX to Minneapolis flight.
And I don't know,
Let's
maybe
just,
if anyone else is in a long distance relationship, like let me know. But all I know is that like I
you can
would
get on a 3 hour and 42 nonstop flight from Sun County Airlines, whatever that is, for $158 round trip.
no comment.
Delta has a $319 one. It's not even a 4 hour flight. 338. That's crazy.
I think I guess what she was trying to show to give her credit is like they both had so much going on in their lives
Yeah.
that it felt like they were drowning and like it felt like a lot of work, which is fair. Like I've also had so much going on and I can't go see Ben, but like then we just wouldn't and it wouldn't be like such a resentful thing and I wouldn't feel like they made it seem like they literally could not live without each other and they had known each other for one day. Like
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. I feel like it's hard too because it's just some people are a different breed. Like, I think you handled long distance really well, even though it was hard for you guys. I think I don't know that I would have handled it so well. I feel like I would have had I think some people just like can't do it, you know?
That's what I mean. Like you wouldn't have done it, right? Like
Yeah, I know. But again, it's hard to say because in my situation, like, I would have just moved for somebody. But obviously she couldn't do that. You know, it's
yeah.
different.
And
But
he
some people
couldn't
I
do
just don't
that
think are
until
built for
he
it.
decided he could.
Yeah. Interesting. I'm
Also,
very eager, guys. Please leave us your comments about what you thought of this.
I want to know. And also the storyline about the dog being in witness protection, I thought was funny.
That was funny. But it was crazy also how it was like, oh, like she had Pooter this whole time and then now she has like this pug. It's like,
Yeah.
it's so
I
random.
was like, okay. Wait, no, not the pug.
Yeah, she kept the pug from the car.
Oh, yeah.
You
But
know.
then he also had another dog.
Yeah, he had the other dog. Yeah. Jake from State Farm.
Jake from State Farm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. See, that's
Yeah.
also like,
I thought that was like funny. But that is
I
like an
like-
older joke, which is weird.
yeah. But Jake from State Farm maybe blew up. Was it you that said that she wrote this on her iPad?
I don't know that I said it, but I heard that she writes many of her books on her phone when she's like out and about.
could see that.
But I think that she's done it for her other ones. Like, I think
Yeah.
it's just kind of like when this inspiration strikes, you got to go.
Yeah.
I used to write essays on my phone in college.
Oh, I can't write like that on my phone.
Oh, no, I mean, I didn't like do well at the essays. I just needed something to
Oh.
turn in. So,
Well,
yeah, the last thing I would like to touch on about this, and I feel like we've been recording forever, but we have obviously a lot to say. The title, Say You'll Remember Me, is that supposed to be a Swiftie reference?
I think it is, but I don't think it makes sense for this.
Well, I mean, I think it kind of didn't. It was kind of the opposite because she was like, you need to forget me, like when she left. But I didn't see any other Swiftie references within the book. Usually I'm pretty eagle-eyed about that. I didn't see anything.
I didn't see anything either, and I don't think I missed anything. I was like taking like notes. No.
Well, I did hear that the next book is going to be called The Night We Met, which is like that song, Take Me Back to the Night We Met. So I'm like, maybe she's doing song titles now.
Oh, maybe. Well, part of your world is in that Little Mermaid.
Yeah, true. And I guess Say You'll Remember Me is not like the title. It would be from Wildest Dreams, but
Yeah, that's true.
T.
I did. Sorry, last note was obviously half of the book was in LA and half of it was in, and I liked that their first date was like all a bunch of like LA things and the pier and everything. And
yeah, that was cute.
I think that the whole the portrayal of the Santa Monica Pier was hilarious. When he was like, "Oh, there was like some crazy people and like this person doing magic and this person," and then he like was like, shushing, moving her this way around. Yeah.
Have you ever been to the LA Zoo? I didn't even really know there was one.
I have been to the LA Zoo.
I need to go. Apparently, it's like kind of up by Griffith Observatory. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, it is. It's like right off of like the Skirball exit or something. Yeah, it's over there. You know what I'm talking about?
No.
The Skirball. Or skee ball or something. Anyway, it's over there.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I just really need everyone to comment, either in the Spotify comments, YouTube comments, DM us. I'm dying to know about people's thoughts on this. And just in general, like, maybe give us your ranking of Abby books as well.
Yeah, give us your ranking and let me know. I want to know who everyone's like favorite book boyfriend from her series is. Because mine is definitely Justin, obviously.
Mine is not Jacob from my favorite. It would be Josh from The Friend Zone. Because he was like a sassy,
funny
funny
he's like
firefighter. Yeah. Like, oh, love.
I love that.
Love.
Well, thanks for watching and listening, everybody. Happy Monday, by the way.
Yeah,
it'll be Monday when you're listening.
Yes, it'll be Monday when you're listening. Don't forget to finish Funny Story by Emily Henry because that is our book club book for the month of April. We'll be releasing the episode on my birthday, the day after Mariana's birthday, Monday the 28th, will be the Funny Story book club episode. So make sure you finish it within this next week. If you're watching this Monday, you got a week to finish it. And then that episode will be up soon. So,
yay.
Spoiler alert, it's so good.
Spoiler alert, Nikki needs to eat her words.
Yeah, I need to I'm actually about to film a TikTok issuing a public apology to Emily Henry because I was a certified hater. I'm halfway through Funny Story and I'm obsessed with it. So,
wow.
That's all.
We'll see you guys next time.
Love you guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.